If you find your personal injury attorney doing any of these things, it's probably a good sign you need to reevaluate.
Hi everyone, this is Eric Mausner and Tom Graham. We are personal injury lawyers in Miami, Florida. On our channel, we'll be talking about various issues related to personal injury law and insider tips and information that pertain to the industry.
Today we're going to be talking about red flags, things that should be concerning or alarming to you if it is an experience you have with your personal injury attorney or his law firm. And at the end of our conversation, we're going to go over what we see is probably the biggest red flag or something very important for you to know. So what are the things you should be concerned about or red flags if you see or experience your personal injury attorney doing them? I think number one, far and away, is a lack of communication.
Yeah, and I think you see lack of communication all the time. So what does that mean? Typically, if you don't hear from your attorney for months at a time, you should be getting regular updates, if not from the attorney, from his team. But my favorite thing that I see is a major red flag is that if you hire a law firm and you never meet the attorney at all, if a month, 2 months go by, or even longer, that's a problem. And that happens at the bigger firms. If you sign up to a law firm and you're only talking to the paralegal initially, you need to ask to speak to the lawyer. And if you never meet that lawyer, you need to consider new representation.
Number two red flag, your lawyer seems just way too busy to give you the time and attention you need.
Yeah, this happens all the time. Some lawyers are capable of handling volume. Some prefer lower volume, perhaps bigger injury cases. So you need to know what kind of firm handles what kind of cases. So if your lawyer is too busy, you should consider alternative representation. It's not personal, just make the decision for yourself.
Third red flag, a lack of staff or poor performing staff.
Yeah, I think if you hire a lawyer who doesn't have a team around him, that's certainly a red flag, and you may want to consider another option. This is not a business where one man can do it himself. You need a team around you. It's good to have a law office, a team of lawyers. Solos can be totally fine too, but they're going to need support. So if you hired a lawyer who has no support around him, you may want to consider another option.
Red flag number four, the lawyer that thinks he's the jack of all trades. So he'll do a real estate closing one day, a criminal case the next, and he wants to do your personal injury case.
If you hired a lawyer who is what we call door law, handles anything that walks through the door for your personal injury case, you've made a mistake. You want to be with a firm that specializes or focuses on personal injury cases only. I always like to tell people you want to be with a lawyer who only focuses in on that particular area of law. So if you were injured in a car accident or a boating accident, you want to be with a personal injury law firm that handles those cases. It's just like going to the doctor. If you have a stomach issue, you're going to go to a gastro. You're not going to go to an orthopedic doctor for your stomach issue. It's the same thing with lawyers. Go to a lawyer that specializes or focuses in that particular area of law on a daily basis.
Good point. Red flag number five, and this one's a big one. A lawyer that tells you or asks you to do something that you feel is unethical.
Yeah, if a lawyer tells you to lie in a deposition or anything related to court, or tells you to lie to a doctor, that's a problem. It's a big red flag. It's a big no-no. You should consider a new lawyer at that point.
You should run. Red flag number six, a lack of transparency and updates.
Yeah, if you want an update from your lawyer or law firm, they should be able to give it to you. They should be able to give you your file, your medical records, your medical bills. You should know your case costs, right? So all this information is readily available. Your firm should be able to turn it over to you within days of you asking for it. If they won't give you your file and a lot of time has passed by, that's certainly a red flag.
Red flag number seven, excessive fee or excessive billing. That's a big no-no.
Yeah, so if you're hiring a personal injury lawyer in Florida, the fee is 1/3 pre-litigation. When a lawsuit gets filed, the fee goes up to 40%. Those are standard figures. They're approved by the Florida Bar. That's what you should have with your personal injury attorney. The only way to deviate from that is to actually sign a different contract and then have court approval. That's something you can talk to your lawyer about. But those are standard fees. Anything excessive needs approval you need to agree to, and in fact, it could be deemed unethical.
Red flag number eight, a lawyer that really doesn't have experience and can't handle your case the way that it needs to be handled.
If you detect that your personal injury lawyer doesn't have a lot of experience handling your type of case, you're going to want to consider making a switch, I think.
Absolutely. And in this day and age of people on the internet and on Instagram, we're seeing a lot of guys that are getting into this industry that really have never done it. They don't know what they're doing. They certainly haven't been in court or tried cases, and they don't have the skill to do a challenging big case. So always be a little bit careful of the facade you're seeing, because it might not really be accurate. Red flag number 9. Your lawyer doesn't even have a clear plan or a strategy.
When you hire your personal injury lawyer, you need to sit down and discuss a plan and strategy. Every case is different. Every case has different injuries, different liability facts. So it's good to sit down with your lawyer in the beginning and talk about the strategy, talk about the medical management plan, talk about the insurance claim, if it is one, or the lawsuit that's going to be coming. There's a lot of little things to talk about on your case. So if you hired a personal injury lawyer and you didn't have this conversation at the outset, that's a red flag.
And it all kind of goes together. So this is similar to lack of communication and maybe even a lack of experience, because a lawyer that hasn't done this enough, they're not going to know how to move the chess pieces to set up your strategy and how to build your case.
Yeah, and of course, when a client hires a personal injury lawyer, they love to know, how much is my case worth? And that's something an experienced personal injury lawyer can give you an idea, give you a range. Can't make promises. If a lawyer's making you a promise in the beginning, that's a red flag.
And the final, probably the biggest red flag, your lawyer pushing you to settle your case when you don't want to.
Yeah, settlement is a client decision, and there might be times where an attorney pushes a client to settle to save the client from destroying their case. But then there's other times where a lawyer might be pushing the client to settle for pennies on the dollar, and that's the kind of a lawyer you want to avoid.
Exactly. And what we'll sometimes see is lawyers that maybe lack the skill, lack the experience, some of the other red flags we've mentioned, and they'll take a case that might be much more valuable and they settle it too soon, or they settle it too low because they don't want to do the hard work, they don't know how to do the hard work, or they don't even know the true value of the case and how to find it.
When it comes time to settle your case, it's an economic evaluation. You're going to want to sit down with your lawyer and learn about what you're going to net. So keep in mind, when it does come to settlement, it's not about that gross figure, it's about what you're going to net after the fees, the costs, the liens, and the medical balances. There's a lot of things that go into what calculates the net, so you're going to want to have that conversation with your attorney before you agree to settle.
And just remember, as with all things in life, trust your gut. If you have a bad feeling about your lawyer, if you're not getting along with your lawyer, if you don't think you can trust them, it might be time to reevaluate, talk to some other people, and see what's going on.
And if you do decide to change lawyers, just be aware, it depends on what stage of the case you're at. Your existing lawyer will have what's called the charging lien. You will owe them a piece of the fee when the case settles. That's something to talk about with your new lawyer. Thanks for watching our video. We try to provide a lot of insider tips and information. We hope you learned a lot about the settlement process there, as well as red flags with your current lawyer, things to look out for. Stop by anytime on this channel. We'll be talking about various topics related to personal injury law.